to the ground is if I'm literally burning you because I
There
have
it did.
no
Yeah.
idea what. I theoretically I know how it's supposed to work.
Right.
That doesn't mean I can put it together.
That's where, and we're live, so you know what? It's like we jumped right back into it. So
Yeah.
when everyone decides to rejoin, so I wanted to wrap up with, I got a couple questions for you because I know I asked you one before. So I have five of them. I already asked you one about the lottery. I've been
Right.
asking these as well. This
But
was
you also asked me the which would you rather.
I did ask those. I have a few more. Do you want one of these?
Whatever you do, listen. The only thing I have to do in the morning is go to a doctor's appointment. I don't care.
If you had to, would you like to make a balloon animal for everyone you meet, or steal something from everywhere you go?
Oh, I'd rather make the balloon animals. I'm not good at it, but
Right,
uh,
you would be able to. This one was actually kind of good. These two were good. One, everyone thinks you're Superman, but you're actually just you. Or two, you're Jesus, but no one believes you. Those are two weird ones.
uh, I don't know. I think I'd rather be Jesus and not have anybody believe me.
Because then you are already Superman in a way. This
Well, yeah, because Superman, like, you know, yeah, he's got kryptonite, but he doesn't have a utility belt.
No, and that's the other thing too. Everyone would be expecting you to do something crazy, and it's like, nah. You have to say no all the time. You're like, nah, I don't
Yeah,
want to.
do I really have to show you that I can fly?
Are
I
you
don't want to do
sure I'm
that.
Superman? You don't believe me? Here's a couple more. Um, Secretly be a witch in colonial New England, or go live on Mars and never come back.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's a good combo, huh?
wow.
Those are tough.
Can I go further than Mars?
So you die or die, right? I don't know. No,
Can I
just
go
to
further
Mars. Just to
just to
Mars.
Mars?
Yeah, that because the card says Mars.
Uh, do I still get to watch ball games if I'm on Mars?
Yeah, there's a delay. I think it's like a 30-minute delay, but
Okay,
who
if I can
cares?
still do that, then we'll go to Mars.
Yeah, because at least there's some sort of communication going along that way.
Yeah,
Yes. So these last ones again. This has come. So I don't. So Rob Lowe has a new podcast called Literally,
right.
and so he asked this question of David Spade. Um, if you could see one of these three things, which one would it be? And you probably may have seen this one: a UFO, a ghost, or Bigfoot. Which one and why?
Oh well, you asked the guy from Cal Nam. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Nam. Yeah, exactly.
Nam. Oh, I'm begging for the UFO to come and please take it. Put us out of our. Just do it already.
Do
Come on,
whatever it
let's
is.
go.
Either
Do
change our
whatever.
world.
Yeah, just take me. Take me to your leader. I don't care. You know, let's go. Bring it on.
Well,
Bring
it's
on
all
the.
it's always that one episode from the Twilight Zone, right, where they say they have the book "How to Serve Man," and it's not it's actually a recipe book. It's
Yeah.
so that's
Well,
always
yeah. I mean, the episode that always sticks in my head from that is the Burgess Meredith episode
which one is that? I think I know which one you're talking
where he survives the nuclear blast and he goes, "Oh, I have nothing but time to read," and he breaks his reading glasses
about.
and he finds a gun, and the next thing you see is smoke.
Yeah, that's all he can do. Oh, such great. The old ones were so good. Although
Yeah.
the ones in the '80s was our trip as well. So, um, other than your own, what is your favorite occupation?
Well, I wouldn't say that my own is my favorite occupation. I love my job. Don't get me wrong.
Got it.
I've done it long enough. My favorite occupation, and it sound it. I wanted, when I retire, if they have the Arizona Fall League,
Yep.
I would love to just break out a headset and stream of 2 or 3 or 4 weeks or whatever it is, have a team and just do a radio style broadcast for 4 weeks.
Right on.
If I'm retired and it's not at that point, it wouldn't be about the money.
Right.
be about doing it for the experience of it.
Exactly.
Uh, because as much as of a hockey guy I am, baseball was first. And I don't, and as I said to you, I think before we started,
Yep.
and when I was growing up, we would play a game where you imitated somebody's batting stance,
Oh, got it. I remember. Yep.
and and your friends had to figure out who it was. We knew them all.
That's
We knew them all.
wild. That is so cool. I wish I had a memory for that, but again, I guess it took a lot of time for you guys because you were able to
Well, it was, but we
practice
were
it and
also,
see.
yeah, we were, we also didn't have responsibilities, right? We were 9, we were 10, we
Right.
were, you know,
You'd be able to remember all that.
yeah.
Let's see. What is the quality you like most in a woman?
I am, and I'll say this, it'll sound weird. One of my favorite things to do was listen to my wife laugh. I wanted to hide.
Oh, absolutely.
I wanted to hide in a corner, especially if she was interacting with the kids.
Yep.
Um, that was like my favorite thing to do.
Yep.
I mean, I still do it when the two kids that live, that still live with me, when they do that, I want to hide in the corners and I want to listen to them laugh.
Yep. Absolutely. I think that's great. I think I feel with you, right? It's just being. I was thinking, like confidence or anything else, but just hearing Mrs. Jedi who's laugh. Yeah, that's definitely something that is. It's intoxicating in a different way.
And a good debate, even if you don't agree.
Right.
And well, I mean, do we always agree with our wives? I mean,
That's a human. That's a human state, though. But
yeah.
that's exactly
I, my wife and I didn't always agree on everything.
right.
You
As you
know,
shouldn't. No,
whether
exactly.
whether it was politics or television or what have you.
Right.
But those debates were fun.
Yep. Excellent. Um, what is your greatest extravagance?
I think I don't know. I'm sorry. I was checking the lights, but I'm all of
Yeah.
a sudden I got down. What the heck? My greatest extravagance?
Yeah.
It's probably the laptop I'm talking to you
Okay. Right on.
on. A few years ago, I went out and bought this, um, the MacBook that I'm on.
Okay.
I'd rather spend the money on other people.
Fair. And giving it out. That's actually very nice. Okay, that makes sense. And then, what talent would you most like to have?
What talent would I most like to have? I wish I was better at constructing things.
Like home improvement type stuff,
Yeah.
or okay,
Up here, I know what's supposed to be done,
okay,
but somewhere between here and here,
yeah,
it gets lost.
I understand.
My kids are great at it.
Okay,
My uncle was a construction guy. My grandfather refurnished cabinets for his business.
right on.
Um, so it's in the family, but I have not. I'm half decent with electricity. Like I understand. Don't ask me to. I could put a circuit breaker in a circuit box, but
Okay,
don't ask me to connect it because I'd be too afraid to blow up the house. But I mean,
fair,
I have the general idea of how that's supposed to work.
right.
Um, and you, I don't care what anybody says. You have to have. It's a natural talent.
It is. And if you're
It,
looking at people with like drywall, it's an art because
yeah.
drywallers is that's an art. That's an art form. I mean, it just doesn't matter. I completely agree with you. Yeah. That's actually good to hear because I mean, the past few like Kyle Dodd you saw, he wanted to be able to sing a song or play an instrument. Right? That's what he was thinking
I
of.
can't. I'm not. I can carry a tune. I
See?
can't read a note. I it's actually some of the moments I enjoy the most. Um, my youngest son, is much more musically inclined,
Okay.
the older kids, and I have ruined his musical taste uh, forever with what I play in the car. But um, but a lot of times we end up singing whatever's on in the car,
Okay.
and whether we're any good at it or not, he actually is. Um, and he's got a much more varied taste than I do.
Okay.
Uh, I am more. The one day he says to me, because I listen to stuff that my parents listen.
Okay.
Okay, I like vocals.
Okay.
Give me something a cappella over anything with an instrument.
Got it. Okay.
Um, and I like the best concert I ever saw was Brian Setzer,
Oh, okay.
the Brian Setzer Orchestra.
Yep. Big band, jazz, swing, all
Yeah.
that. Yep.
Um, I appreciate other forms of music. Like I don't, you won't catch me listening to rap, so to speak. But I appreciate the skill that it takes to do it.
Right.
It's not my thing, but I appreciate the skill it takes.
Right.
The same thing with say heavy metal.
Okay.
Okay, it's not what you're going to catch me listening to, but I appreciate the skill
Of course.
that it takes to play it. And one day I'm knocking on my son's door. He says, "I'm sorry, Dad, I can't hear you because I'm listening to Back in Black." I'm like, what? Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I
exactly.
wasn't. I just it caught me off guard. You know.
Yeah, that's Padawan 2 does that to me too. He got into a Queen fix, and so he was playing songs that I hadn't heard. I'm like, wow, this is cool. So yeah.
No, I actually my young he loves Queen.
Yep.
He wanted to see the movie more than I did,
Yeah.
and when we're done with the movie, he said, "Do you know this part is true and this
And he
and
knew.
that he really this?"
Oh,
I'm like, okay, well, that's how I know he's really into something.
because he knew and didn't know exactly.
You know? Sometimes I hear him singing '70s disco tunes
Yeah.
in his room. Like, where are you getting it from?
Yeah, Padawan 2 just finds all kinds of stuff. He was on an
You know,
ELO kick for a while there. He was like, and I kind of attribute it to the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtracks.
yeah,
So
that's part of it, I'm sure.
that was a lot of the stuff where it kind of introduced him to it, and it just kind of like he just started finding his own way from there. So it was like, all right. And as soon as he
And
started showing me songs that I didn't hear or didn't know about, then I'm like, all right, now you're into it. So
he says to me one day he says to me, "Dad, would you ever wear a Beatles T-shirt?" I'm like, "Yes, I would. Why wouldn't I wear a
yeah,
Beatles?"
exactly. It's like, why would you ask
Why would you?
that?
Oh, I don't know. And it came out of the blue. It's not like we were in this deep conversation. It came
Yeah,
out of the blue. Um, One day he says to me, "Dad," because I have a couple of Beatles songs on the,
of course.
you know, he goes, "My favorite is Octopus's Garden."
Wow, that's a Ringo
Okay,
song. That's quite the dig. Yeah.
okay. I mean, awesome. It's great. Uh, you
Padawan
know,
3 was trying to figure out a gift for me for Father's Day, and I was like, he's like, what's your favorite Beatles album? I'm like, good Lord, you'd have to ask me that. I'm like, right. So we talked for about 30 minutes. I'm like, what this and that, and I ended up on Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
right.
That's my favorite album. So she ended up getting me a vinyl picture disc. And
Nice.
so, yeah, and she loves vinyl. So I just have to borrow her record player one of these days. It's my Padawan 2 she loves her vinyl. This is the other thing. Padawan 3 loves her vinyl. Padawan 2, he wants a tape player. He wants to listen to this stuff. I'm like, you want a tape player? He's like, there's a shoebox one that records and I can do this and that. And I'm like, son, you do not know how
Boy,
difficult it is to listen, find, and record music on tape. So he liked the novelty, but he was like, okay, I'm not going to do that because, you know, all the music you need is on here. I mean, if you need to hear music, this is what you need, Don't,
um,
but vinyl though is just, that's a complete different thing.
and then he says to me, "I have the song on my Two Pina Coladas by Garth Brooks
Yep.
on my phone." And he says to me one day, "Do you have the Pina Colada song on your phone? I want to look." What? I go. He says, Escape. I'm like,
Ah,
Rupert Holmes? Where are you getting it from? I don't get. I mean, like, I
yeah,
don't know where he's getting it from.
yeah.
That's the part that cracks me up. I don't know where he's getting it from.
I was listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire September, and I was just
Yeah,
listening to it, and then my son comes in and comes out to the garage, and he just like hears it, and he starts dancing and getting into it. I'm like, all right, that's good music. Good
um,
music is good music. That's all that matters.
when I grew when from my day, there's a song called "Seasons in the Sun."
Yes.
It's a morbid song. I mean, it's about dying,
Yeah.
you know. But it's a song when I was a kid, I just liked it. So it's on my phone. And he's like, okay, I just, and he's like, and I, so, the things that strike him crack me up because I don't know where he's getting it from.
Right. That's I think the same thing too, because I mean, there's only so many things, and when you try to introduce them to something, they're like, ugh. But if they discover it, then it's the next. Then it's it's
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
the greatest thing ever. It's like, well, I could have shown it to you if I thought you liked it.
and I say, listen, it's only right. My musical tastes were influenced by the fact that the only time I ever listened to music as a kid was really either at family gatherings,
Okay,
and in which case it was usually the Italian side of my family, so you know what it was. It was loads of Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin and
gotcha.
Sammy Rat Pack stuff,
Right,
uh, and some of the Italian crooners that were around.
right.
Or I was with my father on the weekends,
Okay.
and he was listening to doo-wop songs.
Oh, okay. Right on.
You know, um, and so I said to my youngest, I said, "You got stuck in the same trap that I did."
That's excellent. That's excellent. So I love it, man. Well, I love you, and I just can't thank you enough for being on the show this weekend. I know, despite all the technical glitches, I am excited. I'm glad we had a good I had a good conversation. Really helped lift my spirits, given how the week went. So I can't thank you enough.
Well, no, I thank you too because you know, as I said to you before we started officially, things have happened over the last few years, and one of the ways I've been able to survive, I don't know if that's the right word or not, whatever it
Right.
um, is getting back in touch with my ASU roots.
Good.
This ASU family that you guys let me into, this group that I found with you guys,
Yep.
um, definitely has gone a long way in giving me positive things to focus on.
Wonderful. Good.
Same thing with, you know, I mean, I don't know how it's looking on the YouTube channel because but the podcast we're doing, it's been about the same length of time, and I don't want to say it was divine intervention, so to speak. It probably was. Um, it's given me things to focus on that make me happy,
Wonderful.
and this is part of that. And so I want to say thank you, and and the group that you guys don't know the positive that you've been to me.
Thank you. And that warms my heart because I think that's really why I started this because it's we were all so very disconnected in March and we always didn't know what was going on. So it was and we always we're everywhere. We're scattered everywhere, right? So we always
Right.
can't be in Tempe for
Right.
whatever reason, right? So I think at least virtually we're able to do this and I think having this group of friends that we can actually rely on and be able to do this once a month, but also do this on a weekly basis is really kind of that virtual community that I'm excited to be a part of and build and establish and grow, because we always cannot be together in Tempe, but we
No,
can always be together, thankfully to technology
right.
this way. And I think that's definitely gonna there's gonna be people join in a year when we're doing this again. There's gonna be people on here that we're gonna be talking to, and it's like, yeah, we did it. We did this show, and you'll say I was on Rob's show, and it crashed 3 times. So
Yeah. Well, listen. As I hope that once things change, and eventually they will. I
of
mean, let
course,
you know. I hope that these things stay in place. Because
absolutely.
because being here on the East Coast, you know, there are a lot of alumni here, but once again, scattered.
Yep.
That focal point is 2,500 miles away,
Yes.
and um,
And it's
when I'm staying up until 2 o'clock in the morning because it's Pac-12 after dark, and the game's not starting till 11 o'clock.
right.
Uh, and if they're playing and it happened to be like a Friday night game when I've been up since 4:30 that morning of going to work,
right.
and like,
You're struggling.
yeah, I mean, to have people to to know, like, to chat with and
Absolutely.
yell and scream and and do those kinds of things. It's definitely a much better feeling, and it makes it easier to stay awake.
It does. Absolutely. And I think that's going to end to your point, right? These are just a handful of things. If there was games going on, I mean, there's a lot of other ideas that are going to grow and manifest in which it's going to improve, and we're going to have more options, and I'm excited to do those when we're able to. But no, that is my goal all along. This is going to be around for everyone for as long as I'm able to. And
Yeah,
even if the computer crashes, I'm going to bring it right back up,
right back.
and then we're going to keep going. So no, I'm glad it warms my heart, because that's always been my goal, to build that community and help everyone feel closer. And I'm glad it's working. So thank you.
It is, definitely is.
Awesome. Well, like I said, thank you again. Stay on the Zoom call. I'm going to make a couple announcements and everything else, but thank you again, Paul, so much. Love you, love to your family, and we'll catch up in just a few more words. But let me make a few announcements. But before we leave, what do you want to plug? I know you have had some in the background, but plug how people can find you, what they should be watching, and so forth.
Yeah, well, I do a weekly podcast, which usually, which it's called College Hockey Southwest Weekly. The main focus is ASU's hockey team, but we get into other things, um, especially when there's no games going on.
Yep.
You see it's icetimehockeysw.com. You can put that into any of the various podcast platforms. We do it live.
Excellent.
The guy Scott Strandy, who started the website, we do it live. He does professional hockey version on Monday nights
Okay.
at 7:30 Pacific. It does a club version at 7:30 on Wednesday nights, and I
Right on.
do the college version with him, the NCAA version with him. We do it at 6:30 Pacific time on Tuesday nights,
Okay.
and we've managed to survive. We just switched formats. We
Okay.
used to do a YouTube format. The editing on that was impossible, and it would take forever to come out. Now
Got
we
it.
switched to audio, and it's available on all the platforms. And
Good.
a half an hour after most shows are done, it can
It's
be
out there.
downloaded.
That's
Um,
outstanding. Okay.
and I appreciate you letting me keep the logo up for these 3+ hours. And
Absolutely.
whoever sees it sees it. We have a good time. Uh, we have the best thing about being live is we can have guests.
Yep.
We've had Coach Powers on a bunch of times. We've had a bunch of the players on. We're branching out a little bit. We'd love, even though they're club, we did some guys from UCLA
Okay.
um, last week
That's
or
cool.
earlier in the week.
Right.
People don't realize there are a lot of California teams that were varsity in
Mm-hmm.
Division One until World War II.
Oh wow.
Um,
Didn't know
and
that at all.
yeah,
Okay.
and the first varsity sport at University of Houston was a hockey program.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I found that
Huh.
out in reading and other things too.
That is interesting.
So we go live 3 nights a week on the site and mine is on Tuesday nights,
Okay.
and check it out if you know if you weren't a hockey fan, maybe this will make you into one.
Absolutely.
If you're an ASU fan, it's a good place to start. Uh, and It's been a big focus, and I enjoy it. And I was going to do it. He saved me from having to do all the editing like you have to do it. But I appreciate this community, and I try to do the best I can for this community on our show. And you know, it's weird. The first few summits we had, there was not a lot of hockey talk,
No.
and some and they've managed to morph into that, especially later in the night.
Yes.
But
Exactly.
thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, my man.
We'll talk to you next week at the summit.
That we will. That is going to be the next announcement for sure, but I'm looking forward to it. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Paul. Again, really appreciate it. Stay on the Zoom. I'm going to make a couple announcements and then we will talk. So, as Paul had mentioned, thank you to everyone out in the chat. Looking forward to seeing you next week at 5:30 on Friday, September 4th. We're going to have our 4th virtual Sun Devil Summit starting at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. So make sure you join us. If you have not attended, send me an email, jediasu@gmail.com, and I'll make sure to add you to that. But again, thank you everyone for staying with us for a good almost 4 hours, which is always fun to do. So again, as always, love you all. I love you all, and I cannot appreciate you enough for being part of this. Definitely make sure to love yourself and also love those around you. And as always, make sure, regardless of where you're at, what you're doing, or who you are talking to, make sure that, just like the social club, make sure you say social. Good night, everyone. Thank you.